Okay. Laugh out loud. We're making a third valiant attempt at going live tonight. What a process. There were some steps that I forgot. Also, I created a new YouTube group as well called the Midwest Rockers, and we will be going live in that group as well. So it should be streaming in the Facebook group and live in the YouTube group. The Facebook group event begins at 9:10 precisely. I think that's when it actually launches in our group. So for those of you watching a replay, etc., in the brand new YouTube group, we got to just hang tight a couple minutes. It's 9:07 p.m. In 3 minutes, I'll be going live in my Facebook group, Rock Guitarists of the Midwest. And at that point, then we can begin this podcast for tonight, which is episode number 5 of a video podcast for the guitarist, rock guitarist of the Midwest, who I now call the Midwest Rockers, which is the name of this YouTube channel. So YouTube, we're getting caught up here. We're just on episode number 5 from the group. I just added this availability in the YouTube stream as well. So there are 4 more additional episodes already in the group, Rock Guitarist of the Midwest, on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook and friend me, John Capity, JonKapity, and request to join the group, you can type in the group name, Rock Guitarist of the Midwest. If you are from the Midwest, USA, this group is for, and you're a guitar player, this group is for you. Now, this is for a little bit more advanced players, not strictly a beginner or just starting out. This is more, you're kind of past the beginner stages. Maybe you've been playing for about a year plus. You've been doing some exploring on your own, taking some lessons, etc. And now you're ready to move to the next step. And you may want to also play on stages. And if you want to play on stages, this is the perfect group for you because we have a lot of working musicians in this group already. Group was just launched about a month ago. There's 53 members currently, the majority of which are working musicians performing on stages all the time. And so we're going to be having podcasts with insights, pro tips for you to develop your skills so that you can go on stage as well. And then we'll be teaching some guitar stuff along your journey as well. I'm really seeking to learn what it is you need to learn and what you would like to get out of this group so that I know what kind of content to make for you. So we are 1 minute from supposedly going live in the Facebook group. So I hope that works out. And I'm going to cue this up. See if I can get this ready on my desktop and my phone to be sure we are indeed going live. I have confirmed that we are live on YouTube, although I am going to check one more time. And I'm just pulling up. Okay, here we go. 9:10 p.m. This is so frustrating. Okay. So all it says is I plan to go live, but I am indeed live. I am already live. So I'm going to send a StreamYard link to the Facebook group, and we're going to have to roll it that way and then repost it later. Let's see. Hang tight with me for just a moment. I gotta have this in the Facebook group, at least a link. I'm gonna send them YouTube link so they can watch on the YouTube channel, and also a StreamYard link so they can watch there. Let's see. Oh, I gotta check something. It's kind of looking like we're live. It's not loading properly. For some reason, the stream is coming into the group late. So hang tight. We're still we're getting our people together here. I'm going to reload Facebook again. Does indeed look like we're live. Wow, it will not let me go to our group homepage. Weird. So sorry, folks. So many tech issues tonight. It's unreal. Yeah, now it took me out and it's not there anymore. Very strange. Go live, start the event. I'm checking on Midwest Rockers as well. 7 minutes ago, is this? Okay, we are indeed live in the YouTube group. So again, sorry for keeping you on hold. Okay. Okay, so that's good. So we are live in the YouTube group. We're just going to do this a different way. I'm going to do a workaround, and I'll have to figure out something else for the future here. Posting now in the Facebook group Rock Guitars of the Midwest, giving them two options to watch this live. One on the YouTube channel, and let's see, two things here. YouTube. Okay, so it's YouTube channel, and then we got a StreamYard link. We're live now. StreamYard, we just need to pull the link here, copy. The link above to watch tonight's live. Okay, so we're posting right now into the Facebook group Rock Guitars of the Midwest. Again, we should still be live in our YouTube group, and it looks like we are. And let's make sure we got the links. We're live now on both of those. I'm going to make sure we're still live in the studio And we have not ended the stream. We're 10 minutes in. We haven't accomplished anything. But we're going to get there, folks. We are going to get there. I'm going to make sure that you guys get links to this stuff and that it does indeed get posted in the group. I will repost it. I will download it and post it in the group, whatever I have to do. Or I will push out the links where you can go to StreamYard and watch it, or you can go to the new YouTube group, Midwest Rockers, and watch the episode there. And that may be our best course of action moving forward due to the Facebook technical difficulties. I am also working on setting up a Facebook page called Midwest Rockers, which will eventually be able to post these live videos there as well. Unfortunately, it's too new at this time, and Facebook will not allow it, I think, until it has some growth or has some longevity. So it might be 30 days of being live. I know there are, I believe, 19 of you in there that have liked the page as well. So we are showing some growth and so forth. So hopefully that'll be available soon. So we are live tonight. You can access by one of the links that are provided in the Facebook group to save on computer power. I'm now going to exit out of the Facebook group and the YouTube that I have pulled up on my computer. I'm going to keep those up on other devices so I can dedicate all resources of this laptop to StreamYard. So I'm exiting out of that, going back to our group, making sure the links did post. And then we're just going to get on with it tonight. So I did post it. We have 2 links available in the Facebook group, Rock Guitarists of the Midwest, StreamYard, and YouTube. So everyone can watch this live if they would like to, and the replays will be at those links as well. And then I'll also download the content and attempt to upload it into the Facebook group so that it is also in the Facebook group. So we will get this accomplished one way or another, and we will get this group, these lives in there for you guys. I want you guys to be able to get this value. Okay, so we're live. I can see I'm live right here. I'm going to pull up my notes so we can get this podcast going. Okay, I'll just check that out time to time. So this, again, is the Rock Guitarist of the Midwest, rhythm, rock, and lead guitarist. Typically, we will be going live at 8:30 p.m. on Monday nights. For this style, when I'm going live, happens to be my kids' football season, and if they have a football game, I just try to put family first, and I'm going to go watch their game. Last night, I was out purchasing some new gear, vocal mics, mic-related gear, and everything for a talent show that we're having at my day job, which I am also a gaffer, a video lighting specialist. And I do that by day. I'm a guitar coach, and I run this group and this podcast and so forth by night. So I was getting some gear. We're having a little musical contest and talent show at work, which is pretty cool. And I'm just a freelance there, but I'm running sound for the deal. And then I'll do a live performance so I can get in my stage time as well. So that's fun and pretty cool. And that is why we're having this live tonight. It was supposed to go live at 8:30 p.m. It is now 9:20 p.m. due to all the tech difficulties, which is very frustrating. But once I master this, it'll be like clockwork. We'll be on point. Okay, so this is Rock Guitarists Midwest for rhythm, rock, and lead guitarists. Going live typically at 8:30 Monday nights. If we're doing a special podcast with a member of our group where we go live and we do a video podcast interview style, that will take place through different times of the week depending on the schedule of the guest. Okay, so I will aim for a Monday or Tuesday evening. That's the goal. But I will also work around the guest schedule too. So what is this group about? I just want to keep letting you guys know what this group is about. It's about education, entertainment, and engagement. So just a quick overview. The education piece is to learn how to play and shred with confidence on any stage, anywhere, anytime, with anyone. This is relating to guitar, Rock Guitarists of the Midwest. Do you need to be from the Midwest? Yes, you need to be from the Midwest USA to be in the group currently. That's what it's all about. The Midwest USA, a small niche of us that can get together. We're all on the same track. We're in the Midwest. We can build these connections and so forth. Is for entertainment, posting songs, posting gigs, posting clips of your performances. We may end up doing a contest or two. I'm still thinking about that as well. If we get big enough, I might even start hosting some local events as well. That would be super fun. Engagement, connecting with one another, supporting one another, learning from each other, encouraging each other, etc. So why should you visit often? For connection, community, and creativity. Unlocking ideas in a mastermind style setting where we share experiences, we share answers and feedback, and we're a supportive group of like-minded musicians seeking similar goals. So why did I create this group, and what will you get out of it? I created this group for two types of guitarists. One, seasoned pros, industry artists, working musicians, teachers, etc. Two, those who want to improve their ability and confidence to play on any stage, anywhere, anytime, with anyone. As indicated earlier, and to recap, for that group number one, this will be similar to a mastermind in a way, in order to share and seek out ideas with one another. A lot of that will come from those podcast style interviews. We'll share what's working, what's not, creative ideas to grow audience, draw crowds, increase profits, increase guitar skills, etc. Guitar tips, tricks, hacks, stage tips, tricks, hacks, maybe some booking tips, tricks, and hacks. For group number two, the aspiring guitarist, I will be your guitar coach, helping you increase your abilities and confidence for the goal of playing on any stage, anywhere, anytime, with anyone. I'll eventually have programs that you can join and events that you can attend to enhance your skills and ability on the guitar. That's where this group is leading. Okay. And also you're going to get a tremendous amount of value, especially with these podcasts, these video podcast style interviews, where we talk to working musicians who have been in the industry for years. They started where you are. If you're an aspiring guitarist or you're aspiring to the stage, they were once where you are, and they are now earning money or playing on stages for entertainment, in bands, getting paid to play. They're teachers, they're performers. Maybe they're on worship stages, donating their time for the benefit of a lot of people. So these are the people that you can glean tips, tricks, and hacks from and get very valuable advice as you are aspiring and growing in your guitar playing, and as you are getting ready to go on stages or to take your current stage presence to a higher level, okay, a more advanced pro level. So this group is going to be extremely valuable for you as well. If you are already a pro, you're going to be able to glean information from other pros in the industry. What are they doing? How are they overcoming the hurdles in the field? What kind of tips, tricks, and hacks are they using for their stage performances? How are they keeping their bands together? What do they do when there's members change? How are they booking their gigs? What's happening in current times, etc. How are they keeping their audiences engaged? So you can share these things to help others, and they will also share these things to help you as well. So these are going to be some incredible benefits. Then you also get the opportunity to educate those who are aspiring to be where you are. And as we teach and educate others, our level of understanding and what we've learned grows, and we go to a higher level ourselves, and we understand what we're doing at a higher level, and so therefore we know it more, we know it better, and we can perform better, and so forth. So teaching others is a way to take yourself to the next level. So this is a very valuable group for both of those audiences. Okay. So we're going to break down. So this last podcast was just incredible. With the one before it was awesome too. The one with Guy Danhoff, got to check that one out if you haven't done so already. It's been a couple weeks since we've done that one. And then this past week we did one with Michael Rassa, which was incredible. So let me give you a quick intro. So let me backtrack for a second. I can't fit this all in the podcast. There was so much information. So this is going to be part one, at least part one of 2 parts, possibly 3 parts. I'm still breaking down all the information inside and making my notes and so forth. So tonight is part 1 of the recap of the Michael Rassa podcast interview. Okay. So who is Michael Rassa? Michael Rassa is a podcaster himself and a health coach, along with being a manager performer in a very accomplished cover band called The Now. Not only is he manager of the band, but he is also the music director and booking manager of the band The Now, securing over 40 plus shows in summer seasons alone. He has a wealth of knowledge to share in all facets of running a band and keeping the band at a high level of performance. Again, the band name is called The Now. THENOW, The Now. Okay? So what makes Michael Rassa? So I'm going to get into the interview now, and I'm going to try to preface the questions I was asking him to give you the topic of understanding and then give you the advice that he gave us. Okay. I'm just going to double check real quick here, just be sure we're still going live, and we are indeed on YouTube for sure. And so at least we got one place that we're streaming. And of course, we're streaming on StreamYard. So if you have gotten on StreamYard, then you can also listen to this podcast live. Okay. So I was asking Michael, if there was a sentence that you would think you could say to describe what makes you unique on guitar, what would that be? And he said he's a cover song artist. And his uniqueness is in keeping the song about the emotion and passion of the song and music. The uniqueness is in keeping the song about the emotion and the passion of the song and the music. We were talking about lead guitar, and he mentioned a good solo is like a song within a song, which I thought was kind of a good way to put it. A good guitar solo is like a song within a song. It's melodic and memorable. It mimics vocal movements, vibrato bends, etc. I'm going to take a quick second and go to YouTube on my desktop behind this laptop, just so I can be sure we're staying live and things are going well. Midwest Rockers. Okay, very good. So, and one of the things I want to share is he brought up a few songs where the guitar kind of struck him to the core, the guitar solos that really resonate him and feel passionate to him, that bring the music alive to him. View my channel, and good. We are live. Make sure this is muted. Do I need extra sounds coming through? Good. Okay. Okay, very good. So some of the songs that he brought up that you might want to check out for yourself is John Mayer, the outro solo to Slow Dancing and Burning Room. I quickly listened to all these because it's just been a few short days since this interview, and I wanted to get this content together for you guys. I guess maybe it's been about a week, but I've been listening to that podcast and going through the information. So I want to listen to these songs again too, and really kind of dig into these solos he's talking about. The second song he brought up, so the first song was John Mayer, Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. The second one was another John Mayer song, Gravity. He specifically mentioned the open part, the melody line. Another song he referenced was the Prince song, Purple Rain, and the outro solo. And many times he also mentioned Neil Schon, from the lead guitarist of Journey, was mentioned throughout our discussion as well when discussing guitar solos and so forth. So those are a few things that you want to, a few tracks and that you want to check out, and maybe check out some Journey stuff. And then I also mentioned in that interview a song that I found through a student of mine, which I think all of you should check out. It's the live version of a song called Slow Ready by the band Goose, as in Duck, Duck, Goose. Okay. They're like a jam band, like in the vein of Fish, Grateful Dead, etc. The song Slow Ready, the live version, not the studio version, the live version is it's the guitar solo. It's about a 10-minute song, and in the middle is probably where that guitar solo starts, and then it just goes the rest of the song. It's like incredible. It's just like this massive solo jam. It takes you through all these emotional elements and everything. And I don't know for sure, but it sounds to me like there was a lot of improv involved. And man, that guy was on spot on that night. Just one of the best solos I've ever heard. The outro solo, which is actually about 5 minutes long, to the band Goose, the Slow Ready live version. Okay, it just keeps building. And I think everyone should check out that lead guitar because it's just incredible. We discussed how to keep things fresh from the stage in a band. How to keep things fresh from the stage in a band. Some of the tips that Michael gave us was rotating songs in the set, in and out at different shows. So you might have, like, the majority of your show might be approximately the same, but then there's this handful of songs that you're rotating in and out to kind of give some variety. So if you have those followers, those fans, those super fans that kind of show up to all your gigs, to get variety for them, you're going to rotate in and out a few songs. So you might play this set of 3 to 5 songs in one live performance, and in the next performance you might change out that 3 to 5 songs, and then they get a little bit of a fresh new experience. So rotating songs in and out at different shows. Number 2 tip he gave us was each show already has a different, unique audience. Yes, there's those fans, those super fans that kind of show up to every show, your kind of your followers and so forth, and but each show also has a different variety of fans. They might be other fans of yours that couldn't make the last show. They might be new fans. They might be regulars of the club, bar, or festival that you're playing at. So that gives you a new and unique audience. And because you have that new and unique audience, that keeps the show, which you're repeating, fresh because of the audience. You can play off their energy and so forth. The third tip he gave us was that each summer they introduce 10 to 12 new songs and then test them in their sets. And I may have a note to mention this later, but one of the things I remember, he says when they test a song, it is good to test it in approximately 4 to 6 shows. You don't want to just test it once because there's different audiences. There are festival shows, and what goes over well at a festival may not be the same reaction in a club setting. So you want to test it in like a club, in a festival setting. You might want to test it in the second half of your set or the first half of your set. Where does it perform better? And you really want to get about 4 to 6 tests before you decide if it's a good fit for the group, it's providing good energy, people are responding well, and it keeps people engaged throughout. Okay, so that's how they introduce and test a song in their band. Rotating singers was tip number 4, if possible. So if you have multiple singers in the band, rotating rather than just having one lead singer, which is also very common in bands. But if you have multiple singers, you can have this lead singer that maybe does 50 to 70% of the show, and then rotate the band's the songs that are a good fit for other members of the band. And this gives the lead singer a break, is one of the things we talked about. keeps that lead singer fresh and ready to go. It gives variety, so a changing of the guard, so to speak. A new singer in the band creates new interest in the audience and keeps them further engaged. It grabs their attention again. Okay, so if you're able and the band has that skill set, then you want to rotate singers throughout your show. Keep it fresh and interesting. One of the questions I also ask is, how do you keep your fans engaged during guitar solos? And here was Michael's reply to that one. It was to look at the audience. Us guitarists are known, and I'm very guilty of this, I keep thinking about one gig I did for my parents' 50th anniversary, and they got remarried at the time. And I think I looked up at the audience once or twice. I was that guitar player, just looking down and playing my stuff. And I got incredible reactions from people I don't normally interact with. They were like friends of my parents and stuff, and not necessarily in the age group that this music would be fitting for. But it just caught them off guard, and they were just blown away, by what I played. But I felt a loss, and I have to say that I felt a loss because I was just focused on me and what I was doing and trying to put on a good performance. I should say trying to put good music out, because you can't perform well when you're just staring at your hands the whole time. So I do feel at a loss that I didn't engage with the audience more. I didn't look at them. I didn't pay attention to them. That eye contact that Michael brought up is so important. You got to look at the audience. You got to engage with them. And we'll talk a few more of those a little further in this talk here. So he gave us a tip on how to do that. So how can you do that? He said, you take your guitar solo and you assess the solo and your skill set on that solo, and you look up at the audience during the easier part, where you have a good understanding of where you need to be on the guitar. Maybe you looked down to find your place. Now you got your place, and now there's some bends and so forth, and it's a little bit of a slower section of the solo before you do like the fast runs and so forth. And that's when you look at and engage your audience. This is one way to start developing the skill. And then during the more technical aspects of the solo, then you would look down to your hands. And when you get to one of the easier parts again, look up and engage with the audience again. I thought that was brilliant. That's just great. That gives us all a tip on where we are at now. If we are guilty as I am, at looking at the hands and being somewhat fearful of the audience and not wanting to look at them, this is a pro tip on how to get in it very rapidly. Okay, so look up during those easier parts of the guitar solo, look down during the technical aspects. Okay, very good. I'm gonna get a sip of water here. So we talked about I brought music theory and his aspect on it. And interestingly enough, he said he doesn't really think about theory. So he said he doesn't know much about theory, etc. He just kind of knows enough to get by. Okay, so I know a lot of us guitarists can kind of get deep in it. Many teachers and so forth talk about how important theory is. Okay. I taught over 100 students over a 10-year period. Did I teach theory? Yes, of course I taught theory. Did I make it the strongest point of emphasis? No, especially for the types of students I was teaching. So there's a few factors that need to be understood here. We are in the group Rock Guitarists of the Midwest. Okay, so when you're discussing rock, it is less critical than other styles of music. If you're playing classical guitar, if you're playing, fingerstyle guitar, if you are in a concert pit or an orchestra, you are playing guitar, reading music and theory become a little more relative. if you are a jazz musician or even like a fusion jazz rock mix, these are the types of music, and I'm sure there's many more as well, that are more critical in understanding guitar theory. If you are a teacher, you need to understand theory a little bit more, okay? We are rock musicians, and the cool thing, when I teach it as related to the guitar. Okay, many as theory is taught, it's usually taught in relative to the piano, and so it can be sometimes hard for teachers to teach music theory in a way that the type of student can learn it in. Because if I'm teaching like theory that I learned for or about or surrounding the instrument of piano to a guitar player, that can be very confusing. So you have to understand and figure out how to translate that theory that you've learned into the instrument to make it applicable to the student, okay? And then you want to simplify it so that they can understand it and grasp it quickly. And you don't want to spend all your time there. Enough so that they can start to understand theory and so forth. And as they develop, you can give them more and more theory knowledge, okay? So, but here's something cool. We had a pro in the house. Somebody who's been in the industry 20 straight years in the same band, doing 40 plus shows in the summers alone, not even counting the rest of the year, okay? Who's booking gigs, managing a band, et cetera, okay? He says, I don't know much about theory. I don't know much about. He's on stages all the time. And after this podcast, I went and saw them live. Brilliant. He's the real deal. Michael Rasa is the real deal. He's an incredible musician. He has formed an incredible band of very talented musicians. Lead singer out of this world, incredible vocals. They could easily, be playing shows for tens of thousands of people. That's the quality that they're at, okay? And yet he doesn't know much about theory. So you have to have a deep understanding and spend years of training in theory to get on stages, have a band, and get paid as a musician. The answer is no. He's living proof of that right there, okay? So a lot of times students get stuck because they think that they have to spend so much time in theory and know all this information before they can even start to play with other musicians, before they can get into a band, before they can play live on stages. And this is just simply not the case. It's just not the truth, okay? Especially for rock musicians, okay? So that's a good thing to know. That should encourage you if you are an aspiring guitarist looking to take your skill set to the next level and to get on stages, okay? Just removing hurdles. We can take that one less hurdle away from you where, okay, I know I just need to know enough to get on the stage, okay? Then you can get on the stage quicker. Okay, the next topic we talked about was tips on practicing. So I asked Michael to give us some tips on practicing. He confessed that he does not practice much during the summer. But I also want to counter that with when you're performing 40 plus live shows in the summer alone, you're practicing. You're playing every weekend, probably 1 to 2 shows a weekend, maybe more than that. Okay. So he may have said, so if you listen to the podcast, he said, oh, I don't practice, I pretty much don't practice during the summer. Stage performances is practice time. Okay. You are practicing. You are learning more about those songs. You're building in that muscle memory. So that is practice in itself. So at this point and stage in his life, he says most of the practice time comes in the off season. Okay, so the summertime is so busy and so big that there's less practice away from the stage. We'll put it that way. Practice away from the stage. He's on the stage all the time. So every time you play on the stage, you're getting better. You're learning the songs better. You're refining your skills, refining the muscle memory. that is practice. Okay. So other tips. The point there is he's been playing for many, many years and he still practices. He's still got to learn those songs, still practices a lot in the off season. And you'll find out later he even still takes courses from time to time. Okay. Warm up before the show, before playing on stages. He always tries to warm up, if at all possible, before he performs on a stage. And I can tell from my own experience as well, if you warm up before, you'll play about 10 times better. Okay. Your fingers just have to get warmed up. You're not going to go, most of us, I'll say, are not going to be able to go 0 to 60 right off the bat the moment you get on the stage, unless you've warmed up already. If you spend, a good 15 to 45 minutes in the back, warming up, getting your fingers going, doing skill runs, maybe practice the lead parts in your songs and so forth, your fingers and hand are going to be ready, warm to go, and you will be able to get that speed that you need and play those parts with better clarity and fluidity. Okay. Tip number 2 he gave us, no matter how long you've been playing, practice with a metronome. And now there's no excuses. You can simply type metronome in Google and you will get a free metronome that will pop up on the spot. You don't have to spend 25, 35, 45, 60 bucks on a metronome in the store, which is still a wise investment. You don't need to do that anymore. You can just go right online, any browser, but Google is usually the main one, and just type metronome or free metronome and one will pop up right there. You don't even have to click on a link. It's just immediately right there. You can go to YouTube and you can type things like drum beat at 70 BPM or 72 BPM. And you'll find a whole bunch of drum beats at that. You can get more specific. You can say rock drum beat at 96 BPM, and a rock drum beat will pop up. And you can actually practice to someone who's playing a live drum beat, who recorded a live drum beat. Okay, so then it's like you're getting experience playing with a drummer, which I highly recommend as well. So metronomes are more interesting. Nowadays they do different sounds and stuff, so they all respond to different sounds differently. Some sounds kind of irritate us. Some songs are more pleasing to us, whether it's higher pitch, a lower pitch, etc. So there's no excuse for not playing the metronome anymore. And timing on guitar is extremely important. You're part of the rhythm section. Even when you're a lead guitarist, you're part of the rhythm section, and then you perform your leads. Okay, so timing's critical. A live performance, he says, is about the equivalent of 10 at-home practices. Once you get that, one live performance is the equivalent of about 10 at-home practices. So get on stages. That was his point. So get on stages. If you think about it, if he does 40 plus shows in the summertime, 40 shows, each show is worth about 10 practices at home. That's like 400 practice days in the summer. You can't tell me he doesn't practice during the summer. Okay. So he's practicing for sure. Get on stages. It will teach you faster than anything. Okay. Another tip he gave us is continue to practice, learn, take courses. He talked about a speed course he took. I think he had a knee injury, if I remember correctly. And during that time, he didn't just sit around watching TV, twiddling his thumbs. He actually took a speed guitar course and spent that 6 weeks working on that course and developing his skills. And that was kind of the tip 5 that kind of went into the speed picking course. He worked on about 20 minutes per day, he said, and noticed overall improvements in every area of guitar. So he's not even, his style is not about speed picking, but he chose to take a speed picking course, spent about 20 minutes a day on it, and he noticed overall that every area of his guitar playing improved after taking that course. And it was only about 20 minutes a day. So that's should be encouraging for those of you that might be stuck in a rut or you're wondering what to do next, so forth. Grab a course, spend 20 bucks a day on it. Sorry, not 20 bucks, 20 minutes a day on it. There's lots of courses at any budget level. Okay. There's lots of free stuff you can find as well. So that was kind of tips on practicing. And I'm going to take another drink of water here, talking so much. Here was something we brought up. Okay, let's see. Close that out. So I brought this up from the podcast interview that I had done with Guy Danhoff from our group, which is also an awesome podcast. Great tips, great working musician pro stuff in there. Highly recommend watching that interview as well by Guy Danhoff. So his wife had bought him some Steve Vai tickets, okay, to go see Steve Vai. She got on a backstage pass too, and he had an opportunity to ask Steve Vai a question. I would have probably locked up. I'd have been like, I don't know what to ask this guy. The guy knows everything. What do you ask some guy, virtuoso like Steve Vai? In my opinion, Guy Danhoff asked him the coolest question ever, which was, do you practice the cool factor? Do you practice the cool factor? Do we even think about that? I see people performing on stages and I'm like, they look so cool. That's so awesome. How did they get like that? How did they learn that and so forth? So his question was, do you practice the cool factor? And Steve Vai's response was, this is the entertainment business. Yes, I practice the cool factor. And he said in response, yes, you can devote a portion of your practice time, Guy, to practicing the cool factor for stage performances, because we're in the entertainment business. It's entertainment. It's a show. People want to be entertained. They want to be visually stimulated. Okay. So it's okay to spend a little bit of that time practicing the cool factor. How are you going to look on stage? How are you going to move? What are you going to look like when you play a lead? And if you watch yourself in a mirror at home, you can quickly determine, is this working or is this not working? What can I do to enhance this, and so forth? So simply by watching yourself in a mirror, you can start to enhance your skills in that cool factor status. Michael had mentioned that, no, like me, like myself, we haven't practiced that cool factor. And in full confession, I've never even thought to practice it. I just thought, you either got it or you don't got it. I'm the guy who looks down at his fingers and just plays and then looks up at the end. And I'm in the process of changing that, which is why this group is so cool, because we can glean and learn some of these tips, tricks, and hacks for stage performances from the other members in the group. But you can practice this in front of a mirror at home and really start to distinguish what is going to look cool on stage and how can you enhance your performance and so forth. So that's really cool. Michael did say that on stage, when they are performing, they will do certain things, just like they will have an idea and they might walk over, the guitar might walk over the bass player or walk up a singer or something. They might have a connection or do something kind of cool on stage. They'll maybe watch the performance back. They record all the shows, and they might watch that performance back and say, hey, that worked really well, so let's do that at the next show. And that's kind of how they build their entertainment piece. So he said they don't practice it, but yet they are doing that on stage. I saw them do quite a few moves like that in the show that I saw. So there is definitely an entertainment piece to his show, and apparently he's accumulated all that on the stage itself instead of practicing it in rehearsal time. So I found that pretty cool. So the cool factor is important. It's an entertainment piece for us. We talked about stage presence. How can an aspiring guitarist go from practicing at home to the stage, or how can working musicians take their performances on stages to the next level? And so here were his tips. One was to look at the audience, make eye contact, let the audience know that they are there. That was tip number one. Tip number two was smile. Okay. Very important. And what's really cool is his singer is like nonstop smiling the entire time she performs, constant smiling. It's attractive and entertaining to look at somebody that is smiling. It just gives off a nice entertainment piece. It makes you want to be engaged with what they're doing. They look like they're having fun. It's when you smile, it exudes energy, and that energy feeds into the audience, and then they reciprocate and give you the energy back when you're on the stage. So look at the audience, make eye contact, let the audience know that you know that they are there. Smile at them. His third tip was to get as much stage time as you possibly can, because nothing beats actual stage time and getting better at stage performances. His fourth tip was look like you are having fun. Look like you want to be there. Look like you're having fun. Look like you want to be there. Very important. And that's another reason to look in a mirror. Okay, because if you're like me and you're just staring at your hands the whole time, and maybe it's because of fear, maybe you're an introvert like me, so forth, and you're kind of hiding behind your guitar. Well, that can look like you don't want to be there. So we need to learn to have a look, to have the look we want to be there on this stage. We want to be there, entertaining the audience, entertaining our fans, giving them a show, and so forth. Again, he mentioned one stage performance is equal to about 10 at-home rehearsals. When you're on the stage, you're in the middle of the fire, and you just have to figure it out. So that's why you practice as much as you want at home, but until you get on the stage, that's like a whole different thing. And nothing tops that for practice. Look like you care regarding your attire and what you wear. Dress like you care. Look your best. That was tip number 6. I'll review again. 1, look at the audience. 2, smile. 3, get as much stage time as possibly can. 4, look like you're having fun, like you want to be there. 5, one stage performance is equal to about 10 rehearsals. You're in the middle of fire. You have to figure it out. So nothing tops being on stage. And then number 6, look like you care regarding your attire, the way you dress. Look your best. Okay. So the above tips will build engaging fans and super fans for your band, group, or if you're a solo artist, etc. Extreme fire in those tips that he dropped for us. The last topic of tonight, of part 1 of the Michael Rasa podcast interview, is about Michael's thoughts on stage equipment. And this was value-packed as well. And there's so much more value to come. There's definitely going to be a part 2. If I can't fit in part 2, then there'll be a part 3. Okay, so last topic of the night is about his thoughts on stage equipment. Tip number 1, get a good, high-quality guitar. Get a good, high-quality guitar. I'll personally add my thoughts to it. When you get that guitar, I wouldn't even take it home for a day. I would, as you're on your way to get the guitar, I would call a local luthier or one that you've worked with before and say, hey, I'm getting a new guitar, whether it's used or new, whatever. I'm picking up another guitar, and I want to bring it to you and have it set up properly. Okay, that is literally the first step you should do. You shouldn't even go home and play it. You should literally just get it in the hands of a luthier, have them comb over it with a fine tooth and nail, check all the settings, etc. Make sure the string height's good, make sure everything looks good on the guitar, get it fixed up properly and tuned up properly, and then you should take that instrument home and enjoy it and play it and so forth. And then from there, you can kind of tweak some of those settings as you get to know the guitar. So I always recommend that you get a guitar, take it to a luthier, at least within the first month that you have it. See, the problem is if the guitar has bad action or it's not currently set up properly, you may not enjoy that guitar as much. You may not be able to get the correct sounds that you need to get out of that guitar. You may hear unwanted noise. Okay. So you really need to get that guitar to a luthier to get that set up properly, and it will make your experience 10 times better. Okay. So his tip number 1 was get a good high quality guitar. Number 2, Get a good high quality tube amp. He said amp. He plays tube amps, so I'm pretty sure he's referring to tube amps. I was a big tube amp fan myself. Or you can get my thoughts, an amp modeler like a Helix, a Fractal unit. What's the other ones out there? I think Ed Rush has one. There's several that are good, high quality. So I currently use a Fractal. Okay, I finally made the switch. There's nothing like playing through a tube amp. The air blows like right through the speaker and blows at you. There's this feeling, it almost like feels like the electricity is going right through your string when you're playing the guitar. So I'm not sure if they'll ever be able to create anything that tops the tube amp, but the new amp modelers are way better than they were 20 years ago. And they simulate today's amps like it ain't nobody's business. And you can really sound like you're playing pro gear, pro tube amps, etc., using an amp modeler as well. Okay. But his tip was get a good high quality guitar, a good high quality amp. Okay. Tube amp is our recommendation. Get good quality guitar pedals. Notice, and I think it's important that he didn't mention like high quality or the highest quality guitar pedals. He said good quality guitar pedals. You got to have good pedals. Okay. And this is like if you're using an amp, because if you're using an amp modeler, that all that stuff is in the unit itself. Okay. So good guitar, good high quality guitar, good high quality amp, get good quality guitar pedals. Tip number 4 blew my mind. Something I've never dabbled in, but been on the fence about for years and years. He says to spend loads of money on high quality cables. Do not reserve spending in this category. Spend lots of money on high quality cables. Get very high end cables. This is a pro secret and tip. He says and you're not just looking for one high quality pro instrument cable that goes from your amp to the pedal or guitar to the pedal or guitar to the amp. That is one that you need. But then you also need all your patch cables that go in between your pedal board. Okay. All of those have to be extremely high quality. All the cables running to your amps need to be extremely high quality. And here's one I didn't even think about. Do not buy power strips from like Best Buy or Walmart and throw them on your board, because you're going to get all kinds of line noise, line level noise, buzzing, etc., interference. You have to also spend good, loads of money on good power strips or power bars, etc., to power up your pedals and so forth. Okay. Instrument cables, patch cables, cable stands, and especially power strips. Those are the things you want to spend loads of money on. Get a good high quality guitar. Okay. This doesn't mean you have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. You just need a good quality guitar, good quality tube amp, good quality guitar pedals, but spend loads of money on high-end cables. And that will solve lots of your problems. Lots of the buzzing will be eliminated. The static, interference, etc. Much of that will be eliminated and make you stage ready. Okay, so that was a mic drop moment right there for me, anyway. And I've heard the arguments both ways. I've heard pro level working musicians say it doesn't matter that much. Okay, I've heard the other. Okay, I've heard both sides over and over again. And I've always spent the majority of my money on the equipment, and then there's not much money left over for cables and stuff, so I bought low end. So I will be starting to make that transition in my life as well, to test that out and get more high quality cables and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to start budgeting for that. Let's see. Oh, there's one tip I missed. I didn't get a chance to look this up, but he mentioned using deoxin spray on all the output jacks, input jacks, power cables, etc. of his equipment to get rid of corrosion. It keeps the connections clean, dust free. You do it to the connections on your amp as well. And this is one of Michael's secrets to keeping great gear with almost no problems from the stage. So that was very interesting. That's something I hadn't had heard before. So I'm going to be checking that out as well. And that concludes part 1 of the recap from Michael Rasa podcast interview for tonight. And we are, even with all the delays and the problems and everything, I think we're like almost an hour in tonight, and we're just recapping. That's kind of crazy. I'm going to check out and see where we're. Yeah, we might be maybe like 40 minutes in or something like that. But remember, this is just a recap, cliff notes. If you want to hear the stuff straight from Michael's mouth himself, go back and watch that podcast. I highly recommend it. It was a great interview, great podcast, great tips. I would go back and watch Guy Danhoff's as well. You're going to, whether you're a working musician or an aspiring guitarist, aspiring to stages, you are going to get some awesome tips, tricks, and hacks and information about how you can take your game to the next level. So I am looking for the next person to promote on the podcast. I'm looking for the next person that wants to do an interview with me, video podcast style. We go live, and I'll just interview you and get your thoughts on where you're at and the experience that you've had in life and on the stage, your music, your musical journey. We'd like to hear your story. And we'd like to hear more about you. This is an opportunity to get promoted within the group. And if you look through the group, you will notice I have promoted Guy Danhoff and Michael Rasa over and over and over again. I've also promoted them on my personal Facebook profile as well. Now I got the YouTube account. I'll probably eventually be ripping the audio from all these video podcasts and actually creating a podcast channel as well. So the promotion isn't going to stop, and then it's going to live inside the group as well. So as we grow in members and so forth, they will watch these podcasts. As I reference them, they will go back and watch these podcasts, and you will continue to get publicity. You're going to build new fans. You're going to build a new network. You're going to establish connections, build community, and so forth. This is an awesome opportunity for you. If you are from the Midwest USA and you are a pro level guitarist, a little more on the advanced side, working stages or working a career that involves music, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a coach, maybe you got courses, maybe you're been playing live on worship stages for 20, 30 years. Everyone has experience. Everyone has something awesome to share from their life and what they've accomplished musically. And I want to get that out there for people. I want to get your story out and your knowledge out to the world here. So jump on these podcasts. Listen to others who are doing the podcast. Go listen to Guy Danhoff. Go listen to Michael Rasa. And you'll see it's not that difficult. It's not something you have to be afraid of. If some of you are kind of on the fence about it, it's an opportunity for to promote yourself or your band, to get more fans, to get more followers. It's an opportunity to share your social media platforms, share your upcoming gigs. I mean, people in the group are going to like your pages. They're going to follow you. They're going to probably, a bunch of them will attend your gigs. It's a way to connect with other guitarists in the Midwest and build up your network. Those guitarists will give you access to the other members in their bands, and you'll start making connections with bands and other musicians, make new friends in the industry, connect with other bands. I mean, this is a lot of benefits. And it's also for the community group. The more you give, the more you tend to receive. The more you get out of the group, the more you put into it, motivation and encouragement for aspiring guitarists, ones that want to get to your level, okay? Whether they're aspiring to advance their guitar skills or get on stages themselves. It's to share your tips, your tricks, your hacks that you spent years and years fighting to learn. And now you have the opportunity to share that and help other people so they don't have to go through the pain of what you went through trying to learn all these things. So you can kind of help people get on the fast track. Okay. So these are great things. And while you're doing that, while you're helping others and sharing with others, you're gaining fans, you're getting eyes and viewers and so forth, and possibly getting new page follows, page likes, new fans, people showing up to your gigs from the group, etc. Okay, so these are awesome opportunities. And then also, like I said earlier, teaching others solidifies what you've already learned in life and also improves your own skills. When you teach, you grow. Okay, so that's another reason for doing this. So that's all I have for you tonight. I wish we didn't have those technical difficulties. It's been kind of every week so far, but we're going to get there. We're going to get better. We got a microphone just to hear the sound. I hope the sound came out nice. We got an SM7 we're using, going real podcast style. I was trying to keep it out of view. It's right here in the in the camera. And I was trying to keep it out of view for a while, but the sound, just the closer you get it to your voice, the better it sounds. So we're just kind of making some adjustments like that. And I am looking for the next person who wants to do the next podcast episode. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be you? Okay. So I'm going to close out for tonight. This is Rock Guitarist of the Midwest, USA. Rock Guitarist of the Midwest is the Facebook group. We now got a YouTube channel called Midwest Rockers. So go on over to YouTube, look Midwest Rockers, and like and follow, subscribe to that page. And I will definitely be streaming these. It works really well for StreamYard into that group. I'm looking at it on my desktop right now. It's still going. It's streaming started 66 minutes ago. So it's been going strong, and that looks like a very good way to get these to you. So that's one way. And of course, I'll provide the StreamYard links. And if we can get this coordinated and work with our Facebook group again, we'll do that as well. I guess I got really fortunate that it worked last week with the interview with Michael Ross. I'm so thankful for that. And then I will also download the footage so we can break it out into podcasts in future. We'll get a podcast channel going. There is also a Facebook page called Rock Guitarist of the Midwest, a Facebook page. If you want to go, I would like you to, if you're willing, to go like and follow that Facebook page, Rock Guitarist of the Midwest. We want to grow that page as quickly as possible because I want to also link these. I can do this from StreamYard. I can link it to a Facebook page. I can link it to a YouTube page as well. And if I can get it synced up to the group, there's like a third-party app connection that has to happen. If I can get that synced up to the group, then we can go on the Facebook page, the Facebook group, and the YouTube channel as well. And then we got 3 places. It's also on StreamYard with a StreamYard link. That's 4 places. So then we're really pushing this out. And then down the road, I can rip the audio and have a podcast channel going. So you're going to get promoted. Why would you not want to do this? So step up. Those of you that haven't stepped up, it's your time. If you've been thinking about this, if you're sitting on the fence about doing a podcast interview style with me, John Capity, rise up. Send me a message in Facebook Messenger, and we'll get you scheduled. And we'll work hard to make it convenient for you. And we will get your podcast up and get you promoted and let you share your story with us, which we would love to hear. It'd be very valuable to myself and this community. So thank you for your time tonight. For those of you watching the replay, thank you for your time. And I'm looking forward to the next live. Of course, one of the lives, whether it's next week or the week after, will be part 2 of the Michael Rasa podcast, sharing more valuable insights, tips, tricks, and hacks. Thank you, Midwest Rockers. Good night. We're signing off now.